some sort of white colored cloths, and people who are living in the Arctic climates or cold climates, they will wear a fur type of cloths. So have you ever thought of this? And have you ever just thought that why people living in high altitudes, they will prefer to have more fat rich diet, and why people in hot areas, they will prefer low fat rich diet? So these are some of the important aspects that this particular concept will explain. So today we are going to discuss about the concept of cultural ecology. So cultural ecology has answers for all such kind of questions. So friends, myself, Dr. Suresh Goramkunda, and I welcome you all to this session on behalf of SRIRAM's IAS. So today let us delve more into the concept of cultural ecology, and let's try to explore how culture shapes the environment shapes the culture. So this would be our major quest in today's discussion. Is that it clear? So let's move ahead and let's try to understand more. First, let us start by understanding what is cultural ecology. So first, let's try to understand that. So if we try to answer that question, so cultural ecology is nothing but it's a concept that has been proposed and that has been developed by a famous evolutionary school of thought scholar. He is known as Julian Stewart. So Julian Stewart has systematically developed the concept of cultural ecology. So then, if you see, what is it? So cultural ecology is basically, it's nothing but it's a doctrine and it's a philosophy, so which systematically deals with a major question, that is how environment shapes the culture of a particular region. That means how culture adapts to a particular environmental setup. So that's one important aspect that the cultural ecology deals. So in a simple fashion to say, in other words, it is also a kind of methodology to explain the concept of multilinear evolutionism. So Julian Stewart has proposed, and he was a famous proponent of multilinear evolutionism school of thought. So he also belongs to neo-evolutionary school. So he was a 20th century scholar and he proposed that. So this cultural ecology is a method that has been used by Julian Stewart to explain the concept of multilinear evolution. So that is another important aspect that you must remember. So then, friends, what did this approach done? So this approach laid groundwork for various theories like ecological anthropology or political ecology. So this was the key concept which laid for development of such kind of things. So what is ecological anthropology? Ecological anthropology is nothing but that branch of anthropology which systematically deals with the study of relationship between the human beings and the environments. How environment shapes the culture of the humans and how human beings will adapt to the environment. So that would be the subject matter of the ecological anthropology. So this ecological anthropology has been developed with the contributions and the foundations of the cultural ecology. So let's move ahead and let's try to learn further about the concept. So now, if you see from the concept of cultural ecology, so according to Julian Stewart, there are four key aspects of the cultural ecology. So what are those four aspects? So first, if you see, the first and foremost aspect of the cultural ecology is that every culture is composed of a culture core. So culture core, according to Julian Stewart, is generally made up of the technology, the level of technological development that particular people will have. That's one thing. Then second aspect is culture causality. So culture causality, cause, reason. So it is composed of, or it will be made up of reason or the cause for which this particular cultural trait is there. So that's one thing. Then levels of socio-political organization. So that's another important component of the cultural ecology. Then like culture types. So what are culture types? Culture types are nothing but all those culture parallels together would be known as a culture type. So That's one thing. So what are culture parallels here? So culture parallels means in a different environmental setup, different cultures will evolve in a similar fashion. So all the similar cultures which have been developed despite of having different environmental cultures, so environmental setup, that is known as culture parallels. So if we totally club together, then that becomes a culture type. So that's one thing. So these are all nothing but 4 important key aspects of the culture ecology. So what does this concept of culture ecology deal? So that's very important. So culture ecology deals this particular aspect, that is how culture adapts. That means what is the significant role of environment and ecology in shaping the culture of a particular society. So that's one thing. So in the picture also you can see. So if you see in the coastal areas, their way of life will be different. So here the major problem for the people would be that the coastal environment, that is marine environment. So then if you see in the desert areas, extreme hot, sizzling hot, that would be the problem. So where their culture will adapt to different way of methodology, where the transportation would be done with the help of camels, and they'll be wearing a kind of whitish cloths, cotton cloths, and they will also have the problem of the scarcity of the water, so that you can understand, due to less rainfall or inadequate rainfall. That's one thing. So their lifestyle has been adapted to every different way. And then if you see from the Arctic climates or icy climates, so what happens here? So usually their lifestyle would be different. So they will use generally the fur type of cloths, and they will construct the igloos and they will live in the igloos, and they will depend upon the fishing kind of activity. They will hunt the seals and they will have it. So that's all. So this is the lifestyle of the Arctic people. So simply to say, they will have an extreme coldness. So that is that. So for all such kind of extremities of the environment, so culture adapts in a certain fashion. So this entire concept, how culture adapts to the environment, or how environment shapes the culture, that is the core concept that has been explained by cultural ecology. So friends, try to understand that there is a huge diversity, cultural as well as human diversity across the world. So if we try to look into the secret behind that human cultural diversity, the answer lies with the help of, in the hands of cultural ecology. So let's try to explore more how the culture is being shaped by the environment. So that would be our major quest. So now look at here. So we have desert kind of people, we have people living in Arctic region, and we have people who are living in the river valley areas, and we have also have people living in tropical area, tropical forest areas. So first, let us start with the cultural aspects of the desertic people. So let's take about some of the examples. Let's say for example, it could be the Bedouins of Arabian region, or Bushman tribes of Kalahari Desert, or like Bhils of Rajasthan. So there were so many tribes who are living in the desert environment. So if you see from the perspective of desert environment, their culture would be shaped by the environment. So if you see, how would be the environment in these areas? So climate would be mostly desert, arid climate, and which would be having some sort of scarce vegetation and scarce water availability. So these would be the challenges. So how culture adapts means, so people generally they will have a kind of nomadic pastoralism kind of lifestyle. Nomadism means what? When people moves from one place to another place. That's nothing but nomadic lifestyle. What do you mean by pastoralism? Pastoralism is nothing but it's a type of economic organization which is characterized by the cattle herding and cattle rearing and subsistence on the basis of cattle. So that's one thing. Pastoralism, that's one thing. So usually they will use camels and goats for their pastoral activities. So that's one thing. So domestication of animals would be the key here. So that's one. Then what would be the cultural practices in desert? So usually they will create some sort of tents for the mobility. Nomadic people, they will take up the tents and they will move and they will establish tents and they will live there. Then their social systems will be based on kinship. So that's one thing. So then hospitality to cope up with the harsh surroundings. So they will wear the white colored clothes and they will use very light food. So such kind of things they will have. So these are nothing but some of the cultural adaptations to the harsh environment of the desert. Then if you see from the perspective of the Arctic lifestyle. So Arctic lifestyle, again, it would be shaped in a different fashion. So where you can see that for example, the Eskimos or Inuits who are living in the Arctic region. So amongst them, the lifestyle will be different. So what would be the environment there? So environment would be extremely cold, isn't it? Then environment would be extremely icy. So icy conditions with limited vegetation. That's the environmental setup or ecological setup. So to this ecological setup, culture will be adapted. So how will it be adapted? Look at here. So usually they will go with hunting and fishing of the basic, that would be the basic subsistence mode. Then like they'll rely mostly on seals, whales and caribous. So these are the major animals and major resources that they can use for their food. So they will fish and they will eat the fishes, or they will hunt. It could be caribous, etc. So they will sustain on that kind of thing. So that would be their thing. Then if you see from the perspective of their lifestyle modifications, so the technology or lifestyle modifications would be like development of kayaks. Kayaks development would be there. Then they will live in igloos and fur clothing to survive in the freezing temperatures. So they cannot change or they cannot migrate to other places because that's where they have born. So they have to adapt there itself, isn't it? So what they will do, they will simply adapt. Like they will use fur clothing, they will construct igloos. So you can see igloo here also. So that's how they will live. And then if you see the social organization would be usually small, and it's a mobile kin-based bands that are suited to the resource scarcity. So that's another important aspect that we should remember. So here also culture has been shaped by the environment in a different fashion. Can you able to connect with it? Now, let us take up another example of the tropical forests. So how do people live in the tropical forest? Will adapt to their environment. So let's say tropical forest, an example for that is like Amazon tribes. So another example like Amazon tribes is, you can remember, Yanomami tribes. So they will live in the Brazil. So the Amazon forests of Brazil. So there, how would be the environment? So the environment would be dense forests, isn't it? So tropical forests we are saying. So dense forests will be there, heavy rainfall will be there, and what would be the soil fertility levels? Soil fertility levels will be very poor because there would be an excessive leaching of the topsoil. So due to which soil fertility will be very less. Are you getting it? So that's one thing. Then friends, how they will adapt. So that is another important aspect. So adaptations, generally if you see, so they will have a lifestyle which is made up of slash and burn kind of agriculture, shifting agriculture, which is also known as the sweetening. So that's the subsistence mode that the people they use there. And then they will depend upon the hunting and gathering of the food. So they will hunt the animals and they will gather the fruits and nuts and they will consume and they will live. So that's how the lifestyle will be there. So what would be the social features? Small setup with dispersed communities with sustainable resource use. So that is how they will live. So here again, the environment shaped the culture. So can they go for agriculture? Not at all possible because poor soil fertility. And can they go for industrial way of life? Not possible because they are living in the forest area. So that's how we should remember. Then again, if you see from the perspective of the river valley civilizations, so if you see like it could be Egyptian civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, or you can take any other things like the Harappan culture. So everywhere, so all of them have been developed on the banks of fertile floodplains of major rivers. So Egyptian culture has been developed systematically in and around the Nile River Valley. Do you remember that? Then Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia corresponds to present Iraq. So it has been developed on the banks of Euphrates and Tigris rivers. That's one thing. Then Harappan culture. Harappan culture is systematically developed on the banks of Indus River, so Sindhu River. So that's one thing. So like that. So they have been developed on the banks of fertile floodplains of major rivers. So their lifestyle would be different, their culture would be different. So here, what would be the advantage? We'll have good soil, fertile soil with good availability of irrigational facilities, due to which how lifestyle will change. Development of irrigated agriculture will be there, and then centralized state systems for managing the water resources and the excess the surplus food grains that would be there. So this is how the cultural adaptations will be there. That's it. Then like outcomes, so rise of early complex civilizations has happened with the river valley cultures. So with surplus production and stratified societies. So we can see these kind of features in their political as well as socio-economic and political systems. So that's how, so usually environment shapes the culture. So we have tried to see a lot of examples. So this is how environment shapes the culture. So if we look into the aspect of secret behind the human cultural diversity, the answer lies with the concept of the cultural ecology. So that's what is nothing but the concept for the day. So friends, this is what I wanted to share with you for today. So friends, if you would like to download this particular PDF and if you want to know more such kind of concepts, so you can join the Telegram channel. You can go to the Telegram channel and you can type the word anthropology guide, or you can just click this particular link also, or you can scan this QR code also. So you can join the Telegram channel and you can download the PDF of this particular class. So anthropology guide is what you can type in the Telegram channel, and that's how you can join and subscribe the channel, YouTube channel. So you will get more such kind of interesting concepts as well as interesting aspects about anthropology. So that's all I wanted to share with you for today. So friends, we'll meet in another important discussion, with another important topic. So till then, take care, goodbye. Thank you all of you for joining with me for this session. So we'll meet again. Thank you all.